All right, so we have another Little Red Riding Hood story, and we're going to work on these two papers when we're finished. This one has a little bit of a different ending than the ones we've read. So it's called Little Red Riding Hood. This is a big story. Once upon a time, there was a little girl who was loved by everyone who knew her, especially by her grandmother. Grandmother had given the child a red velvet hood, and the little girl loved it so much that she would never wear anything else. And so she got the nickname Red Riding Hood. One day, her mother said to her, "Little Red Riding Hood, take this cake and bottle of cordial to grandmother. She is not feeling well, and they will do her good. But promise me you won't stray from the path. Walk straight to grandmother's house and be sure to say good morning when you get there." Little Red Riding Hood promised and set out with her basket. Grandmother lived in the woods, a half-hour's walk from the village. As Little Red Riding Hood walked along, she saw a wolf in the path in front of her. She had never met a wolf before, so she was not a bit afraid. "Good morning, Red Riding Hood," he said. "Good morning, Wolf," she answered, remembering to be polite. "Where might you be going on this fine day?" the wolf asked. "Oh, I'm going to grandmother's house," Red Riding Hood told him. "She has not been feeling well." "And what do you have in your basket?" asked the wolf. "Some cake and some medicine," said Red Riding Hood, "to make her feel better." "Where does your grandmother live?" the wolf wanted to know. "Oh, a bit farther into the woods," Red Riding Hood told him, "straight down this path." Thought the wolf. "This little girl will make a tasty treat indeed, much more tender than the old woman. I will have the old woman for dinner and this little morsel for dessert." Uh-oh, he's a sneaky wolf again. The wolf walked a little way with Red Riding Hood, and then he said, "Oh, look at all the beautiful flowers. I am sure your grandmother would love to have some." Red Riding Hood looked at all the bright flowers dancing in the woods. "What a perfect gift for grandmother," she thought. "It is still early, and I have plenty of time to pick a nice bouquet." So Little Red Riding Hood left the path to pick the flowers. But each time she picked one, she saw another one farther on, and so she wandered deeper and deeper into the woods. Meanwhile, the wolf went straight to grandmother's cottage and knocked on the door. "Who is it?" called grandmother. "It's Red Riding Hood," said the wolf in the sweetest voice he could manage. "Oh, lift the latch and come in, my dear," said grandmother. "I am too weak to get out of bed." The wolf lifted the latch, sprang through the door, and swallowed the poor grandmother whole. He didn't even chew. Then he put on her gown and her nightcap, climbed into her bed, and closed the curtains. When Red Riding Hood had picked all the flowers she could carry, she hurried on to grandmother's house. She was surprised to see that the door was open. And look who's in there. Do you see? I see a wolf with some glasses. "Good morning, grandmother," she called from the doorway, but no one answered. So she walked over to the bed and opened the curtains. There lay her grandmother, but she had pulled the nightcap around her face and she looked very odd. "Oh, grandmother," said Red Riding Hood, "what big ears you have." "The better to hear you with, my dear," said the wolf. "Oh, grandmother, what big eyes you have." "The better to see you with," said the wolf. "Oh, grandmother, what big teeth you have," said Red Riding Hood. "The better to eat you with, my dear," cried the wolf, and he swallowed Red Riding Hood right up. Oh! Then he crawled back under the covers and took a nap. A short while later, a hunter passed the house and thought, "The old woman is snoring very loudly. I must see if something's wrong." When he went inside, he didn't find the old woman. He found the wolf fast asleep in grandmother's bed. The hunter was just about to shoot the wolf when he wondered where the old woman might be. Had the wolf eaten her? The hunter pulled out his knife and he cut open the sleeping wolf to check. The first thing he saw was a little red hood, and Red Riding Hood jumped out. Then out climbed the grandmother. Then the hunter sent Red Riding Hood to gather some big stones. This part's a little different. You know what he did with the stones? He filled the wolf with stones, and then he sewed him back up so he could have a full belly. The wolf woke up with a belly full of stones. He tried to roll over. He tried to sit. Finally, he managed to get to his feet for a few seconds. Then he fell down, dead. The hunter skinned the wolf and took the skin home to his family. Grandmother ate the cake and sipped the medicine that Red Riding Hood had brought, and soon she felt quite strong. After that, Red Riding Hood often walked to Grandmother's house, but she never strayed from the path, and she never, ever, ever talked to wolves. Good thing she learned her lesson. All right, so we're gonna work on this. First thing we're gonna do is we're gonna cut out our pieces. You have some pictures of different characters here. There's a hunter, a bear, Little Red Riding Hood, a grandmother, a goat, a fox, I'm sorry, not a fox, a wolf, a troll, and a chicken. So you're gonna cut them each apart. Put them in a nice little pile so you don't lose them. And then we're gonna sort them. Okay, so I'm done cutting, but you press pause if you need to finish cutting, okay? Okay, so when you're done cutting, we've got at the top it says Little Red Riding Hood, and then it says characters in the book. So those are the characters, who the book was about, the people or the animals that were in the story. This one says characters not in the book. Do you see how the book here has an X on it? We're crossing it out. These friends are not in the story. So you have to decide, is Little Red Riding Hood in the book? Is the hunter in the book? Is the bear in the book? Is the goat in the book? Is the grandmother in the book? Is the wolf in the book? Is the troll in the book? Is the chicken in the book? I'm not going to do this one with you. I'm going to have you do this one by yourself. So you're going to glue them on each side. If they were in the book, they're on this side. If they were not in the book, they're on this side. Okay, I think you can do it by yourself.